Welcome back again to this channel on the Hudi table format. In the previous videos, we looked at the different Hudi table types called copy and write or merge and read, and we also reviewed the folder structure for these files stored in the Hudi format. So as we know that the tables have the two kinds of types like the query and copy and write and merge and read. So all these the tables information tables data gets stored in the form of the timelines in these file structures. So all the updates or all the insets or the deletes happening to these the table data gets stored in the form of uh, a timeline, and these timelines are called the instance. So as these timelines get created as the tables get updated or deleted some of the rows in the table, so which will allow us to run a different kinds of queries on those tables, because we have the data gets stored in the form of base files and the log files. So there is a possibility for us to go back to the previous state of the table, and then we can find out what happened to the table structure, how it was in the previous timestamps. So all this information we can get it from all this information that gets stored in this file format allow us to write a different query types on Howdy, and we are going to look at the two different query types in this video. So the first one is the snapshot queries. The all the queries we are running is called the snapshot queries, and then also we'll go about the incremental queries. We'll see them in action. Okay, snapshot queries is a default query type. So it's always give the latest state of the table data. If you have a table, you insert it, and then you do some updates, and then you do some inserts again. Then whenever you query, this always return the latest state of the query. This is the default query we are seeing so far till now. So the second query we are going to see in this video is the incremental query. Incremental query is allow us to see what was happened, like what changes happened to our data sets in between the two timestamps. So we can pass a timestamps and get the records lineage, how it was happen transition from one state to other state. Here I'm giving you a simple example. I'm going to use this same example to run the code of the Spark job, and we can demonstrate it. But here, let's review this one. So let's assume that we are going to create a one table, and we inserted the records. Assume they are two records, two rows or records as mentioned here. So assume that the timestamp is a T1, and then in the next after some time we updated the first row, and we inserted a new row. Assume that that's a timestamp 2, and then we in the third action we added a new row to the table with a, a new row details like the number 4 and the name. Assume that that's a T3. So, and then after this, we ran another update on the table that we deleted the second row from this table. So, in a way, we have performed the four different actions on the tables, and we have the four different timestamps. Okay, so as we see that our table is transition between the different states, and then it's in the current state of that is T4. Okay, T4 is like we can assume that current state. Okay, so then with the incremental query, what we can do is assume that you wanted to find what is happened between the T1 and T2. Then we can write a query, pass these timestamps. These timestamps we can get it from the table, and we can pass these values and get the transition changes happen. So here I'm doing a in the first box. I'm assume that this is the we have in the at the timestamp one we inserted the one rows, right? So we can check that if we pass the timestamp value as a 0 and t1. 0 is like after the 0th timestamp and including the till t1. So it will return the whatever the changes happen in this time frame. So in this time frame what happens is these two new rows get added to the table, because 0 is like the when the table not exist, and t1 is the when the table got created, and then one row is inserted. And then we did then updates and added a row in the t2, right? If we do if you run a query for the t1 and t2, then it's going to give the data set that is after the t1 timestamp and include the t2 timestamp. So what was the change happened is what change is like happened is updated the name value for the first record, and then we inserted a new record. That's what it is returning. And then in the third action we added a new row. So when we do the t1 versus t3, what is happening is it's inserted the t1 is like excluding the t1, like the t1 after the t1 means it's added the two rows, that's 1 and 3 with the updated column name, and then it's added the new new row. So that's what it is returning in this t1 versus 3 t3, between t1 and t3. and and also we can in the between t3 T2 and T4, that is the T2 is where we added a updated a row, and in the T4 we deleted a row, right? So if we have to find what happened, what changes happened between these two timestamps, it is going to give the T1 and T4. But it's not going to return the deleted record, because this is deleted already, right? There is no way to represent the deleted record. If we wanted to see the deleted record, there is another query type the Hudi supports. We can find that query type. We'll discuss that query type in the next video. But in here, in between the T2 and T4, there is just the uh, fourth row is get added. So we are it is returning the T4. And between the T3 and T4, there are one row got deleted. This row we can the deleted rows it will not show here. It shows the updates happen to the row. So that's why we got the empty results in case of T3 to T4. And if we and in the final query we did a time changes between the T1 before the T1 till the T4. What are the changes happen? So then it's going to give all the changes happen, like between t1 minus 1. What happens is before this timestamp it's added one row 1 and 2, and then the row 3 added, row 4 added, and row 2 got deleted, right? Even though in the t4 the row 2 got deleted, it is still showing the data that's got deleted, because in case of t3, when the timestamp t3 happened, we have the still the data row 2. That's why it's returning the uh, te second row. So this is how you can verify what are the changes happen to your table over the time between the timestamp. We will go and see them uh, uh, these queries in action. So for this demo, I have created a package called the Incremental. So where I have put all the instructions that I am explaining here. So you can we can simply run these Java class Spark jobs in the order they mentioned. Here I mentioned the one underscore months. This is the first job we need to run. Here, what we are doing, we are just inserting the two rows, and then in the second Spark job, we are just getting the data from the table, and we are seeing that what is the table data. And in the next third action, we are updating the row and adding a new column. That data we are having here. Sorry, here. So we are updating a one. We're adding a new column, updating one. That's what we are running in here. That's we are reading from this file and then we are applying. So in the next action, we are adding a one file that we are getting a new record from this CSV file. And then in the last action, we are deleting a record of employee ID 2, and then we are storing the data into the same table. So these are the all different actions we done that I explained in the uh, uh, previous slide. And then now we go and run the query. So here I have the here we need to modify some of the columns. So here we have initial Spark configuration creation, and then we created the table, and then we put the uh, we we are just getting that commit time to find the what is the commit time. But for this demo, I got the whenever I run this insert each whenever I run the each of these action, like the insert the rows, update and update, delete, whenever I'm doing, I collected all those timestamps. Those timestamps I am saying as a T1, T2, T3, T4. That's what we have it. So this is this code base is the same replication of what we saw in the slide. So let's go and run and see that whether when we run this job is returning the same results as we expected here. Let me go and run this one. Yeah, it's completed, but we can go and review these results generated. So here, mm, the first query is about what is the first query is about getting the data from 0 to T1. In between 0 to T1, we just inserted the two rows, row 1 and row 2, right? That's why it is written in the row 1 and row 2. And then the next is like the T1 and T2. In the T1 and T2, between the T1 and T2, what we should receive the updated row and the new row details. Let's see, we got a updated, yeah, you see the row is updated and the new row added. And the next one is like the T1 and T3. Between the T1 and T3, what we did is in the T1 and T3, we should get the new row got added T4. So yeah, we have that the changes happen, and then new row got added. Okay, and then we have the T2 and T4. In the T2 and T4, what happened is we just added a new row, right? So that then it should return only one row of it. Yeah, we got the one row it. And between the T3 and T4, there is no rows added, but except but the row got deleted, right? The deleted rows will not show in this table, so that's why we don't receive any data for those timestamps. And then we did a time we are trying to retrieve a timestamp value between the before the T1 and till the T4. So then it should have all the rows like updated rows and the deleted rows. It should show that because this in the T4 we deleted this record, right? So it should show that record also. That is what we got it. The record is that is deleted and all the updates happen to this table. So yeah, so this is how you can change the query a different timestamp in your query, and you can get the what are the changes happen to your table over the time. So and there is one more property we need to mention here is that this property option value, like this is how you can tell your Spark job to read the data in between these timestamp, begin timestamp and end timestamps. I'm going to share this Bitbucket, sorry, GitHub link in the video of the description section of this video. You can simply clone into your machine, and then you can play and explore the time incremental queries of this Hudi. Thank you.